Well, hello, everyone, and welcome to LunchBreak with GABC. I'm your host, Ashley Mateus, coming to you live from the Carl-Schurz-Haus. For those of you who don't know, the Carl-Schurz-Haus is the German-American Institute in Freiburg, Germany. We offer a diverse cultural program, English language courses for all ages, and we also have a vibrant all-English library. We are a nonprofit institute supported in part by our members. The main goal of the Carl-Schurz-Haus is to facilitate a transatlantic discourse across all areas ranging from literature to politics to business. In addition to coordinating the English language courses for adults at the Carl-Schurz-Haus and in companies, I'm also head of our German American business community, or GABC. We provide events centered around transatlantic business relations, professional development, and networking. I would like to take this time to thank you all for choosing to spend your lunch break with us. Here today is Sarah Wagner of the Atlantische Akademie and Peter Strohm of Jedox, one of our GABC members. We're going to first get a taste of TikTok from Sarah, who will share her insight on how the platform is being used for business, politics, and developing trends. Then we'll chat with Peter about AI and recent developments at Jedox. Please feel free to post any questions in the chat for Sarah, Peter, or myself, and we will do our best to answer them. I have my lovely assistant, Hannah, with me here today, and she's going to keep an eye on the chat for me to make sure that we don't miss any of these questions. So we're going to start with Sarah, just a brief introduction for her. Sarah is passionate about transatlantic relations and intercultural exchange. Her research focuses on US politics, transatlantic relations, and civil-military relations. She currently works for the Atlantische Akademie Rheinland-Pfalz as their education manager, where she hosts a wide variety of events and manages the social media channels of the Academy. So I'm going to spotlight you, Sarah, and let you take it away.
Thank you so much, Ashley, for inviting me. Thank you to the Carl-Schurz-Haus for hosting today's event. My name's Sarah, and I'm delighted that I will be talking to you a little bit about TikTok. Full disclosure, if you are watching this on YouTube, this is a second recording. During our live event, we had some slight technical glitches, so we're hoping for a smoother experience now. All right, TikTok, trendy trouble. This is what I will be talking about. And my assumption going into this short, introductory talk is that you have heard of TikTok, but you're not overly familiar with the app, okay? So the goal is that after these 12, 13 minutes, you will know more about the app, and then you can decide whether or not that might be something that could be of interest to use when it comes to your business or spreading your message for your NGO or what have you. And if you decide not to, then at least you have some data and facts and knowledge that you can use to impress your young nieces and nephews at the next family function with. All right, let's take a look. What are we going to talk about today? So 3 key issues, a little bit of data in the beginning, right? Who is TikTok, who is creating on TikTok. Then, of course, we have to mention a few of the thorny issues that surround the app, meaning a few political controversies and also current developments or current events that are impacting the app. And we will end with the fun part, meaning content and trends, right? I also brought along some example, of course, but this is then what we will look at. What is important if you do decide to use TikTok as an app? But as I promised, first, we're going to look at some data. So what is TikTok? TikTok is a free video app, and here users create short video clips. So it started off with 15 seconds, then they expanded it to 60. Now you can have short clips, short TikToks of up to like 3 minutes, and they are oftentimes generated by using specific sounds or songs in the background. What's important to note here is that it also encompasses a wide variety of genres. So you have comedic, funny videos, you have educational ones, you have really random sort of niche content, right? You have a really vast, broad area of topics that are represented here. And also important, it also includes features of a social network. So users can follow each other, they can like each other's content, they can comment on the other content, they can share it, right? So we have, on the one hand, this creative creation of clips, of TikToks, and also that part of the social interaction. The business itself is owned by ByteDance. It's a Chinese company, and we'll get back to that in the second part. And it has really seen rapid growth in the past few years, since 2018. And of course, also especially accelerated during pandemic times, right? People being at home on their cell phones and enjoying and creating content. The numbers for how much the business is valued, they differ a little bit. I also attached some sources on the last slide, but technically it's valued at $50 billion according to Reuters. And what is important for the following slide, so when I talk about TikTok, I'm talking about the international version of the app, because ByteDance also has a second app, Douyin, which is sort of the Chinese equivalent to TikTok, the original TikTok, if you want to say so, right? So when I'm talking about TikTok, I mean the international version that is dominant here in the EU, as well as obviously in the US and the rest of the world. The audience, and this is, I think, what makes TikTok really also stand apart, skews towards really young people. So Gen Z and young millennials are heavily represented on the app. The audience also tends to skew more into the female direction, right? So young women also very present as creators, and the user numbers are really going through the roof lately. So globally, we have 1.29 billion users. Again, it's roughly splits off into the international TikTok version as well as the Chinese version. So definitely a large market if one is interested in tapping into that. What does that look like? Two examples here. Ryanair, the company, doing, in my opinion, a very stellar job on TikTok. So what you see here on the left side is basically what your own profile would look like, right? Where people can follow you, where you share your videos. And on the right hand, you can see what a close-up of one of the TikToks looks like. And here the arrows point to the social features of the app. You can you can put a little heart, obviously click on that, or you can also comment on the video, you can share it. So this is pretty self-explanatory, and the app can be used pretty intuitively. You also have what is called a For You page. So this is kind of your home screen, your home feed, you would say, where an algorithm creates video, or not creates, but sort of selects the TikToks it thinks are most appealing to you. And from personal experience, let me tell you that TikTok algorithm does not mess around. It is pretty on point. So when we look at the people who create content on this app, the number one person here that is being followed by the most people is a young US woman, Charli D'Amelio. And what we have here is also that the vast majority of creators are personalities, right? Influencers. So it's not really brands, because that's also a little bit of the appeal of TikTok, that young people feel they are amongst themselves, right? It's not as curated, for example, as Instagram. It's not as overrun by boomers as maybe Facebook. So it is a pretty specific, or I guess unique feeling of a community there, which makes it sometimes hard for brands to branch into that, right? Because obviously Gen Z is very perceptive when it comes to these marketing efforts. TikTok has also started a creator fund program, and they were a first mover here on the market in this regard, meaning they put money aside to hand out to successful content creators. Of course, you have to meet specific thresholds in order to be eligible, but this is something that is happening. And other companies, for example, Facebook or also YouTube, also have started similar efforts in order to obviously maintain and attract new creator talent, because this is what TikTok lives off, right? The creativity of others that produce fun and engaging little TikToks. So this is the woman I was talking about. This is Charli D'Amelio. Here you can see her profile. And this is a very typical TikTok I brought along from her that has sort of propelled her to fame. Not this specific TikTok, but these type of TikToks in general.
I don't got no tights. I just wanna fuck all night. Yeah. Baby, I need to know.
All right, so this is pretty common, right? So short dance clips, a little bit of lip syncing. This is, again, very, very common on TikTok. So the second point, a little bit about the political, geopolitics, censorship data. So the issues, and there are quite a few that TikTok has to deal with, but I just want to highlight a few. The first one is the question of, okay, TikTok is owned by a Chinese company. What does it mean for the national security of a country, for example, like the United States? What does it mean for data privacy for its users? And we had the case in the US that last summer, former President Trump actually issued an executive order that talked about TikTok posing a threat to national security, foreign policy, and the economy of the United States, effectively trying to ban TikTok. However, the Biden administration now has taken back this executive order. They have issued their own, saying they will investigate the matter further. So it's not like they're embracing TikTok wholeheartedly or other apps coming from China, but they're saying they want to investigate the issue further. And they also basically stop the litigation taking place. Because of course, TikTok was trying to appeal this executive order and all sort of the things that cascaded down from there. So that's the one conversation that's taking place. This situation where, TikTok on the one hand, again, is a very popular app in the United States, but again, Chinese owned. The second issue that TikTok dealt with last summer, especially at the height of the Black Lives Matter movement, was how it engages and how it highlights content creators from marginalized communities and how it highlights political issues on the app, right? So Black creators complained and alleged that censorship took place during the Black Lives Matter movement, sort of the protests within the summer, that certain hashtags were suppressed, things like that. And TikTok argued, no, it was more of a technical glitch, but they promised to address these issues. And of course, last but not least, Europeans, we love our data privacy and security. So TikTok has also committed to creating a European Transparency and Accountability Center, where they'll promised, or they said they would be more transparent when showing people or policymakers how they deal with people's data, right? How they do content moderation, just basically a behind the scenes look here. The second thing that I do want to highlight, because that's also important when you create your own content for TikTok, is the issue of cultural appropriation on the app, and also this idea, or this important issue of giving credit when credit is due. So what we also had a couple of weeks ago was a so-called Black TikTok strike, where Black TikTokers and content creators sort of refused to create new dances for songs that were about to go viral or that were about to become very popular, because they said they're doing this all the time, create these dances that then go viral, but they receive very little credit for it. And instead, it's then people, for example, like Charli D'Amelio that I showed you in the beginning, young white women who are more heavily featured on the app, according to the critics, who then also reap the rewards. And it's not just about, giving creative credit. It's also about that this viral success, of course, comes with financial incentives, right? Potential sponsorships, the TikTok Creator Fund that I mentioned, that also, depends on how many views your videos get or your TikToks get, and things like that. So it's also a question of financial compensation, of being seen, and of being also credited. So I highly recommend this article from the New York Times, The Original Renegade, which goes a little bit into that, right? How sometimes it's very tricky in this social media world to track back who created what, and sort of the issues that come along with this. And again, this is this story about Jalaya, a 14-year-old from Atlanta, who created the really viral renegade dance, but it took a long time for really the public to find her and for her to receive the attention that she rightfully deserves. And here a little clip. This is where she was highlighted by the Atlanta Falcons for her dance.
Wait. Go. Got one. Go. Oh, yeah. Go. Let's go. Cash on me, like I hit the lottery.
All right, and on the right hand, you see after sort of public controversy ensued about, creators like Charli not giving proper credit. Of course, a duet took place also at this time, over 9 million likes and many, many more views. So this is sort of the current state of the debate, I guess. But this is an issue to be aware of. And this brings me to our last section. So if you do decide to use TikTok, right, there are a few things I would highlight that I think are important. First of all, make sure that it really makes sense for your business, or again, your NGO or whatever, for whatever purpose you want to use TikTok, that it makes sense with your organization, your message, that it aligns with that, and that also the audience you want to reach, that's the audience that is also on TikTok, right? So again, that is, I think, one of the key aspects. And once you do decide, yes, I want to reach Generation Z, especially also young millennials, TikTok is the right place. Be mindful, be aware, be authentic, right? Give credit, as I mentioned earlier, be aware of what is trending, like really immerse yourself into the app. And yes, it does take some time, but it's also a very fast-paced app. It's very fast storytelling, right? So trends, viral sounds or songs emerge, or jokes. So if you hop on that like 3 weeks later, then that's usually, or most of the time, that's already passed. Okay. So know your audience, and this idea of authenticity, I can't stress enough, because again, Gen Z is pretty good at detecting BS. So do not try to sort of overly appeal to them, but sort of get used with the lingo of TikTok sort of the trends, the type of humor, and that should go a long way. Also, what is becoming more important, and rightfully so, is being inclusive. So if you do create TikToks, make sure they are accessible to a wide group of people. And there are so many tools nowadays where you can make sure that that is happening. Add captions, right? Text to speech functions so that people can also read along who may be hard of hearing. Then do not forget, it is a social network in a sense. So engage with your audience, right? Comment, like, collaborate with other creators to get more reach. And again, I'm always coming back to that. Most importantly, I would say, is be focused, right? So what is the goal of your account? What are you trying to accomplish? Do not just be on TikTok to, cross off another bullet point on your list where you can say, oh yes, we're, active on social media, but really see that it resonates with your brand. And there are so many options too on TikTok. Like you can choose such different niches. Like the amount of topics or hobbies that are presented on TikTok is truly astounding. So if you have something to offer that is entertaining or educational, I'm sure you will find an audience there. And again, most important of all, enjoy it. Again, the app does have quite a few downsides, but it can be a truly fun app if you are willing to dive in and take it all in. And as TikTok says themselves, like, don't make ads, make TikToks. That's also an important point. And I want to end with 2 examples. So this is a TikTok which really also presumes that you are on TikTok a lot, that you get the jokes that are happening, because it plays on a movie, The Fast and the Furious, and sort of the whole, I almost want to say, generation of memes and jokes that has sprung from it. And as you can see in the comments, the audience loves it. Reiner's TikTok is so underrated. My respect for Reiner is going up. And then we have a different example for what can also happen to a brand if you're lucky. Maybe you don't even have to have your own TikTok channel, but you're lucky enough that a TikTok goes viral where your product plays a crucial role. And that's the case in the TikTok here on the right, where a user, his truck broke down on the way to work, and so he longboarded to work while drinking Ocean Spray cran-raspberry juice, and he recorded himself.
Now here you go again, you say you want your freedom. Well, who am I to keep you down? It's only right that you should play the way you feel it.
Right? So it was also a little bit of the timing. So this came out a few weeks before the presidential elections. It was really, you see the vibe of the TikTok, laid back, guy making the best out of a tricky situation. And I almost want to say it escalated on TikTok. So even the CEO of Ocean Spray then also did a similar TikTok. The guy received, a truck from Ocean Spray. Like, the brand obviously used it very quickly to its advantage. And a lot of people created similar TikToks, even as you can see on the left, Mick Fleetwood himself. And this brings me to one other fun point. The song used here, right, Dreams from Fleetwood Mac, like, searched to the iTunes charts on the number 1 spot, right? Even though it is an older song, but that's also the power of TikTok, that it really heavily influences nowadays the songs that are charting or that become popular again. All right, so with these examples, I will leave you to it. Here are some of the sources if you want to pause the video to take a look. And all that is left to say is thank you so much for paying attention, for hanging out with us. And if you have any further questions or want to talk, then feel free to get in touch.
Thank you so much, Sarah. That was very, very informative, and I'm happy that at least a couple of the videos ended up working. And we will then continue on with a little brief interview with Peter Strohm from Jedox. Hello, Peter. I'm going to give you a brief introduction as well. So Peter Strohm is the Senior Manager of Research at Jedox, which is one of our very active GABC members. There are a couple of Jedoxians with us today. Peter's work centers on future innovations at Jedox, like AI, big data, performance optimizations, and usability. For those who are unfamiliar, Jedox simplifies planning, analysis, and reporting with a cloud-based seamless solution. They are a leading global EPM solution provider. Over 2,500 organizations and 140 companies use Jedox for real-time planning. And so I think that really makes it a true Freiburg startup success story. So Peter, as Senior Manager of Research, you are responsible for the AI capabilities of the Jedox software. Can you explain the role of AI in Jedox?
Yes, of course. Thank you, Ashley, for inviting me, first of all. As I'm really happy to be here. So, and to get started, let me first maybe explain what the Jedox software is used for in general. I mean, you give a short introduction. So we're EPM planning software. So, but a little more in detail. So Jedox is a cloud-based Excel-like planning software. So basically you have like a central cloud database where all your data is stored and where it can be accessed from everywhere, especially from spreadsheets like Excel, but in the browser, so that everyone in the team can access it simultaneously, and they can work on these reports together. They always see the latest numbers, which is very important. So if you key in something, then the other persons will see it. So, so the Jedox approach of automate, collaborate, and transform allows the customer to improve the business performance at any stage. So what does this mean? So this means, for example, so you can integrate data with our software. You can visualize the data in the spreadsheets. You can do the planning of your business, like budget planning or sales planning. And last but not least, you can also automate your business processes with it. And actually, this is where AI comes into play. So AI is excellent in automating tasks, and it's also excellent in forecasting results or values. So normally AI is seen in self-driving cars, in robots, in virtual assistants, in image recognition. So we know AI from that. So bad robots, Tesla, self-driving cars, and so on. So we are not a car company. So my team is now taking AI to the financial sector. So the tasks there are like slightly different. So I wanted to give you an example about this. So we have a customer, it's a hotel group, and one of their weekly tasks was to forecast the number of booked rooms for each hotel, which will be booked for each day for the next few months. So they had to really plan for each day, for each hotel for the next few months. And so what we did there was like we collected drivers. So drivers are inputs that have somehow impact on your target. In this case, the number of booked rooms. So how many rooms they will have occupied at a certain day. And we came up with multiple drivers like is there a sports event in the town of the hotel, especially like there was like especially rugby games? Are there summer holidays? Is it a weekend or is it a weekday? Are there already bookings for the next few months? And so on and so on. So putting data together like this. And then we fed this into our machine learning methods and our AI service. And the results were really amazing. So the AI was able to forecast the demand of the rooms with an accuracy of way over 90%. So it varies a little from time to time and hotel to hotel, but overall it was really great. So in this use case, the AI helped the hotel group to save time from the human planners. So they were able to use the results of the AI to plan faster or just approve it. And at the same time, we were able to generate a forecast which was as accurate as the human planner or even better. So that was a really exciting project.
Okay, well that's a great practical example of how the software can be put to use. Yeah. So from my understanding, Jedox recently received a rather large investment earlier this year from a New York venture capital firm. Can you tell me more about that?
Yes, of course. So in the beginning of the year, there was like the investment company Inside Partners, and they invested over $100 million into Jedox, which is like really pretty amazing. So it's like really a lot of money. And Inside Partners, they are investing in upcoming software companies, and they have like companies in their portfolio like Twitter or Shutterstock, DocuSign, Trivago, and many more. And now we are also part of this really exclusive family, and yeah, so they recognize this huge potential in the Jedox software, and they want, with this investment, they wanted to push us to the next level. So Jedox is a Freiburg-made company. So we were founded here in Freiburg like almost 20 years ago. But I mean, we were already acting globally before the investment. So we have locations in the US, in Australia, in Singapore, France, in Dubai, and in other locations. But this investment really accelerates this growth, this global growth, right? And we are really committed to the strong growth here in Freiburg, but especially also international. So we want to build up there. And so that's also why we're always looking for great international talent. And if someone is watching who is looking for opportunities, so please go to our website. We have a lot of open positions there. So yeah, feel free to go there. But this investment is not only about growth, it also assures continuing our process in innovation and going forward, which also includes AI. And yeah, that's what I'm personally very happy about.
Great. And I do believe that Hannah has popped in the Jedox information into the chat as well. So feel free to check out their website as well as the LinkedIn page. Now, as a Jedoxian yourself, you experienced the Jedox atmosphere firsthand. So is there anything in particular you would attribute to the growth of Jedox, to the success that Jedox has had?
I mean, Jedox is and was like a very flexible company, right? I mean, we had the pandemic last year, so where it was definitely a plus to be flexible, and we also took this as an opportunity to review our working model. And yeah, I mean, of course, especially going more in the direction of virtual meetings, remote work, and what really played into our cards was that we have a cloud-based software, right? Yeah, so I think you already mentioned it, but we are operating in over 140 countries. So our software is really already used globally, even if we have not a location in every country, but it's used worldwide. And having this as a cloud software, this is like really a plus, because we can it's available everywhere where you have internet. And this like really helped, and especially also in the last year with a pandemic. And I mean, our software is a planning software. And last year, I mean, a lot of companies, and including us, were asking the question, okay, where is it going? Where is our business going? And so what they need to do is like they need to plan. Okay, maybe the plans have changed and so on. And this is where we were able to really help other companies. So it was planning the business in uncertain times. So maybe planning completely new scenarios, creating worst and best case scenarios was planning. And yeah, actually also get recommendations from our AI services. So I think that were like components for our success.
Mm-hmm. Great. So this is also a good tie-in to our past GABC lunch break as well, when Bert Sota mentioned that in order to get through this pandemic, it's important to have a good balance sheet and to keep track of those finances. And Jedox is the type of software that can help you do that.
Exactly.
Well, thank you very much, Peter. So I encourage everyone, if you'd like to know more about Jedox, check out their website or their LinkedIn page. As Peter mentioned, they are always looking for new international talents to join their team. You can also see other GABC member updates, such as Jedox, on the GABC LinkedIn Showcase page. And on that note, I would like to bring up the subject of membership. So if you're looking to broaden your network while supporting your local German-American Institute, I encourage you to become a member with us. As a nonprofit organization, the Carl-Schurz-Haus relies on the support of our local and virtual community members. If you aren't a member yet and are interested in becoming one, please visit our website or send me an email. I'd be happy to give you some advice. And before we part, I would also like to highlight a couple of upcoming events. On September 29th, we will have our next English-speaking entrepreneurs meeting. On October 6th, we're going to have an event on content creation with Busy. You'll see Rafael Freitas there. It's going to be about creating your brand story, sharing content, when, where, how. And then on October 27th, we're going to have a panel discussion on intellectual property and data protection in the US and Germany with legal professionals Esther Irben from Indianapolis, Eric Clem from Madison, who's here with us today, as well as Morten Douglas and Werner Bachmann of Friedrich Graf von Westphalen and Partner here in Freiburg. And of course, mark your calendars. The next lunch break with GABC is on November 11th. To stay informed, follow us on LinkedIn or sign up for our newsletter. If you miss an event, be sure to check out our YouTube page for recordings. And if you like what we do, we encourage you to show your support via social media, likes and shares, becoming a member, and or donations. I again would like to thank my guests, Sarah and Peter, for joining me here today. It's been highly informative, and we did it in less than 30 minutes. Thank you all to our viewers and listeners. I hope to see you again, either online or in person at the Carl-Schurz-Haus for our next event. I wish you a lovely lunch break, everyone. Enjoy the rest of the day. And if you do have any further questions, you're welcome to stay a little longer and ask. If not, then we will say adieu to everyone. Thank you, Eric, for joining us. Thank you, Hannah. Thank you, Mattis. Thank you, Clemens.